This time on Amazingly Terrible, we are watching 1981's Son of the White Mare.
God bless you, pod introducer.
Oh my! Does this mean I'm gonna get a sword made out of gnome hair? Ooh.
Yes.
You're listening to Amazingly Terrible, the podcast that asks, if we keep asking David to find more and more obscure shit, will he rage quit on us? My name's Adam.
My name's Matt.
I'm David. I live for this.
Nice.
I'm Derek.
And then Mike's here somewhere too.
Mike?
Mike? Did he wander off already?
Did we lose you, Mike?
I think so.
This week we watched Son of the White Mare, which we already mentioned. The Polish version of Son of the White Mare that had English subtitles if you downloaded it and watched it on a specific viewer. So,
The way God intended.
the way the gods had intended for us to do it. So,
I know it's strange for you to have to read while you watch a cartoon.
for me, it is very much so. And my reading comprehension is, it's like at a second grade level. And this is more like a third or fourth grade level. So it was...
I think that's
tough.
generous. I don't think this has got like a complex dialogue.
I don't know. My favorite part was when the horse mom was telling the horror story to the baby, and the baby wasn't listening, so she threatened the baby while laughing.
Yes. So good.
Listen, or a bunch of dragons are going to eat you, and then crows are going to peck out your eyes.
Those Eastern Bloc fairy tales are just a bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of reminiscent of the Jack Frost movie that MST3K did.
Where it's like just suddenly oddly brutal.
Yeah, and the whole thing about the house spinning around and throwing clubs up in the air and...
That was the culture was. That was just what was hip,
Yeah, throwing clubs in the air.
Your
Let
club
him hit
throwing, your
brother on
house
the
spinning.
ass. Spanking your adult brothers. Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Frats, I got to get it from somewhere, right?
Well, there's only those three people exist in the world, so
Yeah,
how else are they going to get spanked?
that's fair.
Shall we Marin less and White Mare more?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. So, Son of the White Mare is an animated fantasy film from 1981. It was directed by Marcel Janikovics and is based on a narrative poem also known as Son of the White Mare. Janikovics was from Budapest, Hungary, and was born in 1941. He originally wanted to study architecture, but political circumstances prevented him from studying. And then growing up, he only watched Soviet animation. He didn't really see Western animation.
Oh, well, that'll do it to you.
Yeah. He worked his way up as an in-betweener in the only animation studio in Hungary, and was a director by 1965. And the way that the system worked over there, that as well as directing, he worked on script, design, storyboards, layouts, and the animation of his films. Because you just, you didn't have that much of a staff.
Yeah, if you were working there, you just did everything because it was bootstrapped, basically.
Yeah, but things took a really long time. So he worked on films for many years. He's directed 4 films and a variety of shorts, working from 1973 to 2011, although I think he just put out something that came out that was finalized after his death in 2021. I think it came out last year.
So he would really take 10 years, essentially, to make the films he was working on?
I mean, so growing up, he grew up in the Soviet system, and the Soviet system funded arts. Like public funding.
So there was limited funding, essentially. There was limited...
Right. That's why there was one animation studio, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And it was funded by the government. So he actually preferred that. He says, like, under capitalism, it's harder for him to make films in the way that
delegate.
Yeah. Well, because you like
they have schedules.
Yes, you have schedules.
Yeah. No, that makes sense too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, he died at 79 in 2021.
Wow.
That's fun.
And he was nominated. He's been nominated for an Oscar. He's won a Palme d'Or. He's won the Winsor McKay Award, as well as numerous other prizes.
Nice. Well, and his his work is considered to be highly influential on Western animation, right?
It's not very. It's not
No?
very influential. I think people know it and
couldn't
like
see
about
that.
it, but I don't think it's had a big influence. It is considered some of the best animation ever made, but it's not. It's not like influential the way a lot of Western, the way Disney is, or any of the bigs in the West.
Best animation ever made, though. I mean, come on, we did see Brave Star. I mean,
Yeah, it's
Come on.
true.
although I can see a direct correlation between this. None of the horses in this have bandoliers on, or like. Well, I
Yeah.
guess the sun is like a human horse hybrid in the beginning. So, but
My vote is for One Piece.
Okay, so I don't think we can talk about this movie without talking about like the style of the movie.
Ugh.
What
What style would that be?
It
it's
is
very Soviet.
Because I failed to come up with a word for it other than weird.
The only thing I can think of is what Derek was saying earlier. Is it is very Soviet, like it feels Soviet. There's like
Yeah.
the Peter and the Wolf old animation that's very similar. There's old animation of there's some like Phoenix cartoon from like way back in the day that's almost exactly the same style. And also like would this also be up there with like the Last Unicorn? It's kind of similar. animation?
no,
Or
I
is
don't
that-
think
is
so.
it- I'm not as familiar with the Last Unicorn, so.
I don't think so. I mean, I think this is a lot better than the Last Unicorn. So, but the last Unicorn had like consistent character models and things like that.
Gotcha.
It's basically.
Oh no, yeah. Last Unicorn is more like the Hobbit style.
Yeah, well, that's what made it.
Yeah.
So basically, flat graphic elements and organic shapes are in constant motion across the screen all the time, and
And vaginas. Constant vaginas.
so many
Everywhere
vaginas.
vaginas.
Yeah, they're fucking everywhere.
And prehensile hair.
Yes,
And prehensile hair, yes.
and everything is very stylized, geometric, and kind of like iconographic in a way. It's very designed. There isn't a consistent. None of the shots are very consistent. A lot of the layouts are very bespoke and unique for each scene. So the presentation of different scenes are all kind of unique, and the effect is basically psychedelic.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things I really noticed was the characters were sort of like the outlines or the what would be the inking in comic books was actually lighter colors than the
Yeah.
than the dark
There's-
color of the character.
They're not like emboldened. They're more like I do not know the artistic term for that, to have a light highlight around the character.
Outlined.
But what's the opposite of outlined? Unoutlined?
Yeah.
De-outlined? Blended,
Well,
I guess. They seem to
yeah,
be like
I mean-
much more blended with the environment. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there weren't any hard lines. Everything was like a graphic form.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of hard to understand the space and setting sometimes, but like recurring graphic symbols and really clear storytelling and really rich iconography kind of make things clear to the viewer. So it's not that hard to follow. It can be confusing, but it's not. You can follow it.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Like it does sound like a mess, but if you just sort of like let like the visual aspects go and just listen to the story, or just rather read,
You
the
just get
story.
really high.
Yeah.
Yeah, all you have to do is like pop 2 or 3 edibles,
Yeah.
sit back and relax, and just let the cartoon happen to you.
Yeah.
So
The cartoon is moving through your body.
I actually watched it without sound one time just to see what it would be like without any kind of audio at all. And if you look past what they're doing and you look like kind of like those, you remember those old 3D paintings where you would stare past it and
You like blur your eyes.
it turns into like a sailboat. If you
Yeah.
look past
Yeah.
it, and if it had any kind of aura, as I would call it, it felt like oppression. Like that's the underlying emotion I got out of this animation. Is it felt like emotion, like just repression and just oppression and Soviet angst. Like it just at its core, it just felt like I was sitting in a gulag.
Yeah. The imagery just went in through your eyeballs and came out your beanhole.
And he was
It's
pissing
just-
pure communism.
I don't know. It's just when you like look only at the animation and it just turn the sound off and try that for about 5 minutes. It's kind of creepy
Well,
and cool.
I'm doing it right now, and it's vibrating a lot. Ugh. It's giving me a seizure. Man, didn't you used to own one of those paintings? One of those hidden?
No. Oh,
you
no.
didn't?
One of those 3D things.
I
Honestly,
thought your parents had one.
No, I don't
Magic
think so.
Eye?
The Magic Eye,
Yeah,
yeah.
the Magic Eye,
Honestly,
yeah,
I could
that's
never
one.
make them work. I could never make them work for me.
Not even once.
No.
Oh,
I got pretty good at
yeah.
consciously defocusing my eyes.
Yeah.
One of my eyes naturally wonks out, so it actually was pretty easy for me. I just kind of. The funny thing is, my son has it too. It must be passed down through like that Y chromosome because I remember times my dad would do that too. It just whenever we stare off into space, one eye just goes whoop and just trails off to the side.
Nice. Nice.
And let me tell you, it makes doing those mind eye pictures really easy.
See, I always used to just like not look directly at them and just sort of like catch it in the peripheral. So,
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
I could never do it.
yeah.
Derek, what about you?
I could about half the time. Like I found if I could make myself go cross-eyed, usually it would come into focus.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Let's get into the plot of this movie.
Yes, the dense plot.
Oh yeah.
Do this
Yeah.
shit.
Well, it plays like a fairy tale, so like everything's highly simplified.
Yeah, I really thought this was a lot older than what he would have wrote this in the 60s or 70s.
Yeah, it came out in 81, so he's working on it through the late 70s.
Wow.
Well, I mean, he was born in the 40s, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might have been something that he came up with in his childhood, essentially.
Do we
It
know how
does
long
feel
it took
that.
him to work on this? Because I'm actually really interested in knowing like how long he labored on this before it came to fruition.
79 to 81.
No, it's not that long.
Yeah.
3 years.
Well,
I mean, I
3 years.
I've mulled over video game concepts for that long, and
And done nothing.
and done nothing.
have-
So
yeah.
Yeah.
that's clearly impressive. Indeed.
Yes. I've thought about doing something for 3 years.
I see another ambitious man. Yes. Game game recognizes game.
And that game is procrastination.
Lack of game, recognize lack of game.
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay. In the beginning of the movie, the White Mare is being chased through a snowy black forest by unknown pursuers. She is tired and pregnant, but finds safety in a yonic portal. At that point, the painful birth of Tree Shaker, who is our main character, also seems to create a vagina tree for some reason for the pair of them to live in. And Tree Shaker is kind of identified by flaming hair, and he's always yellow and orange, and his hair creates like cool geometric patterns. And
his head looks like the sun.
yes, his head looks like the sun. So Tree Shaker transforms from a foal to a child as he drinks his mother's milk, and angelic voices fill the vagina tree orb. We see with a series of vignettes, we see Tree Shaker growing up, and at this point, the White Mare tells Tree Shaker a story about the world. And in this story, there is a tree with 77 branches and 77 roots, containing the same number of crows and dragons. Don't worry, that's not important.
Yeah, I was going to say, it never fucking comes up.
Yeah. Only the dragons are important.
And the number doesn't fucking matter.
No. And then the White Mare tells him about the king of the world, who looks like a one-eyed cloud mountain. He and his queen divide the kingdom between his 3 sons, allowing them each to marry and each to have their own palace.
And it seems like the king made the wives for the sons to have, and also the sons demanded their share, but then like lightened their tone immediately and were like, we would like for this to happen, making it seem like there were like one individual with 3 voices that would change between the different aspects of the individual.
Yeah, there's a lot of like tripling and doubling, and everything happens in 3s in this film.
Yeah, the rule of 3 is strong with this one.
Oh yeah, the sons. It might be that the king of the world creates the wives, or the sons create the wives. But anyway, 3 wives magically appear.
And now we get to my first note here.
Yeah,
I like the one with the boobies.
yeah. Yeah, one of them has boobies.
Well, supposedly they all do, but one of them just has them hanging out. So, because she's a dirty bird.
Yeah, she's sexual. It's very clear that they all represent abstract concepts, right? It's not always clear what those concepts are, but it's very clear like they're symbolic.
Oh no, I mean, for the women, it was like one represented sexuality, one of them represented like meekness or maidenhood or something like that, and then the third one was representing more of like nobility. At least that's what I was getting from it.
Yeah, that seems fair. At this point, however, the wise commit some kind of undefined transgression, and they broke the chains of the dragon. And this gives rise to 3 malevolent entities and the collapse of the world. No clear reason. And this part of the story is really told through shifting visuals, and it's not all very clear what's happening overall.
Oh, thank God. I thought I was the only one that didn't understand.
The sons are wrapped in chains, the whole world inverts, and there's a new, like, underworld.
Yeah.
And then a woman, perhaps the queen, is transformed into the White Mare as part of this cataclysm. She's wrapped in snake chains, and then 3 dark palaces are raised in the underworld as the cities and palaces of the overworld collapse. And Treeshaker also learns that the White Mare has given birth twice before, and he has 2 brothers.
Well, and that was the part that I thought was kind of strange, because it was like there was an overarching entity that allowed her to give birth to 2 sons, perfectly fine, no big deal, but you're not allowed to have the 3rd son because you don't have the milk to raise the 3rd son. Who was that overarching entity? Was that the king?
It's not really
clear.
clear.
Was the king still alive? Yeah. Okay.
It's not clear who lays down this edict on the White Mare.
But she said, fuck that, yo.
Yeah.
Breaks free.
I'm gonna fuck, she says. I'm here to fuck.
I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to win.
I'm here to fuck humans.
Win that Ephemeral D.
Treeshaker wants to fight the dragons, but the White Mare tells him that he must pick up the vagina tree by its roots before he can leave.
Which, spoiler, he never does.
No, he does. They just kind of... It's not very clear.
I thought he just shook the tree. I was under the impression that he just shook it really hard, and they're like, alright, well, that's good enough. Whatever. Fuck. Get out of here. Go.
He lifted it up like a foot, and then his mother started freaking out, and he put it back down.
Yeah, because he lifted it over her.
My mistake. That might have been when I was looking at my emails. Sorry.
So the upside Treeshaker has a vision of the king of the world, who tells him to drink the White Mare's milk and grow strong. And then Treeshaker basically drains the White Mare dry, consuming all her milk for 14 years.
Yeah, he says, go and drink, go and shit, what was the exact wording? It wasn't nurse, it was...
Suckle or something, probably?
Suckle, yeah, I think that's what it was. Go and suckle from your mother for 7 years. Go tell your mother that you need to suckle for 7 years. He's like, okay, got it. Suckles for 7 years, and his mom looks like shit.
Yeah.
She looks like hammered horse shit. And like she's obviously dying.
Yeah.
And after that 7-year time frame, the kid goes back and talks to the old man. And he's like, no, go back 7 more years.
Yeah, yeah.
Go,
You get 7 more years of this.
He goes, and like goes back, and the mom's like, you were gonna fucking kill me. All right, whatever.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
just do this thing.
It's pretty grisly. It's pretty dark. At that point, Tree Shaker is eventually able to lift the tree, but the White Mare dies in his arms. And
Coincidentally.
Yes.
Coincidentally. Had nothing to do with the 14 years of suckling.
Yeah, not at all. And at that point, she tells him to go to the underworld.
Right. She didn't really give him specifics. Like, she was just like, go to the underworld.
Well, he still has the driving goal to fight the dragons.
To fight the dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah, later they say that she told him to save the princesses,
Yeah, later.
but they don't show they don't show that part.
No, not at all. And it's also, they never really the brothers, when they show up, never explicitly talk about what they're doing. They're always just like, they point to their hand or something.
Yeah. They're like, look at my dick.
I'm in charge. You do what I say.
Yeah. At this point, he starts his travels of the earth, and he walks and finds a valley with a frozen lake. His footsteps break the ice, and he tries to drink, but someone closes the voluptuous legs of the mountains, lowering the water. And this enters Stone Crumbler, who's the second brother.
That's right.
He's all in reds and purples, with these big pants that are always kind of falling down, and he's kind of a goofus.
Yeah. When they first meet, trying to figure out who's the strongest, you don't find out that he's the brother until later on.
Right. They have a contest of strength.
Yeah, the contest. And I love these contests of strength. I think that this
Yeah,
is how we should resolve everything.
Biden and Trump should do this.
Yes, exactly.
They basically, each one picks the other up by the waist and then tries to plant the other one into the dirt, like push them down into the ground. And the one who pushes the other further into the ground wins.
Don't you guys remember playing that game?
Yeah, the classic children's
Oh, yeah,
game.
yeah. Classic.
Classic.
Classic. Tree Shaker wins easily, and the brothers agree to team up and fight the dragons and set right the world.
Well, and that's when the brother was like, oh, by the way, we're brothers.
Yeah.
And then Tree Shaker's like, how so? And the other one said, oh, by both mother and father. Like, I'm just your brother.
Yeah, he's
We're not,
on
like,
both sides.
partially related. Yeah. But it's like... I think that's the other thing that's interesting is, like, everybody knows each other the moment they meet except for Tree Shaker. And everybody knows exactly what the relationship is except for Tree Shaker. He's the only one in the dark about anything in this world. So...
But that's okay, because he is ridiculous OP.
Yeah. His dump stat was intelligence, and they just pumped
Yes.
that strength way up.
Yeah, he pumped it all into strength. They set out to find the third brother, and Tree Shaker and Stone Crumbler find Iron Temperer. He's shaping iron with his bare hands inside a mountain, and he has this cool, like, three-sided club that he uses as pretty much every tool that they need. He can shape this club into.
Yeah. And while he's shaping it, he's just shaping it with his bare hands, but he's still, like, cooling it after he shapes it. Which I think is pretty cool, because I'm pretty sure, like, if you do have enough force and pressure to just bend iron like that, it does heat it up. Like, it does actually get hot from that force.
Yeah,
So.
this movie's scientifically accurate.
Accurate. Exactly. That's my whole point. Yeah.
Yeah, science actually bases their measurements off this movie.
It's true.
That's right.
How freaked out am I? I'm one half of a son of a White Mare.
Yeah. I mean, that's the reason why we couldn't find the any other copy, because the rest of them are in, like, archives and vaults of various governments, because it is used as the measurement tool, so they have to, like, make sure that it remains pristine and nobody can interact with it.
It's like
The
the
whole
gold
chunk, yeah.
kilogram.
It's
ball.
like the gold kilogram. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Iron Temperer also wants to have a contest of strength, and Tree Shaker wins again. And the three swear brotherhood, and each one is a star or sun with unshakable connection.
Yeah. And Iron Shaper or Iron Temperer. I can't remember what his name is. Iron Shaper.
It's different sources name him differently.
Gotcha. He does put up more of a fight with Tree Shaker.
Yeah.
So it just does show that like he is stronger than Stone Crusher, but weaker than Tree Shaker.
Everybody's got their level.
Yeah.
The three brothers set off, and they quickly find the hut, which is a hut under a massive tree, and they adopt it as their base of operations. Mm-hmm. Inside the hut, there's a cauldron and an unfinished length of rope. And on the first day, they leave Stone Crumbler to make the food and rope. At this point, the hut is infiltrated by the 11-colored gnome.
Is it 11? I thought it was
7 colors.
7-color gnome.
Yeah,
7-color gnome.
7-colored beard gnome. Wasn't it?
That's just his name. He's actually like the least colorful character in the movie.
Yeah,
He's just white. Yeah, it's just like a pencil drawing, basically.
Yeah, and he has a massive magical beard, and he also has a lot of similarities with the King of the World, like being a cloud with one eye.
Yeah.
At this point, Stone Crumbler refuses to share food with the gnome, who throws the cauldron on him and then eats the food off his belly in a scene that really plays out like a rape scene.
Yeah. Yeah, like even as like the gnome is going into the pot, like the weird like moaning and thrashing from Stone Crusher and like just the positioning of everything really does make it look like he's getting
up in them guts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they do these cool cutaways where you could see inside the cauldron and the gnome is like systematically eating all the food.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre. It makes me feel like this is like that the original story was he like ate the food out of their stomachs.
Yeah, and then like he had to tone it down or something, but it doesn't make sense. Why would he tone it down if that was the case?
Yeah.
Because also like afterwards he does say, "Oh, I'm feeling very ill," or "I'm feeling very sick." Like something was done to the inside of his stomach, even though it was just like, "Oh, I have a hot cauldron sitting on top of you." So
yeah, I also maybe it's some sort of weird cultural reference or something, that we don't get.
Well, when did this come out? This was 1981. Right?
1981.
So that was like probably a little bit after when the first Alien movie came out.
Right.
So maybe they were referencing the xenomorph bursting through the chest.
I think that
I think
seems
I'm leaning
accurate.
more towards Matt's like Soviet reference. I wonder how much of this movie we just went over our heads because,
or like how much of it's actually like trenched in more Eastern fairy tales from Russia, even like old school Russia.
I think they're Hungarian. He made them in reference to the stories of the steppe people.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah,
Okay.
so they're like Hungarian and steppe people stories.
Step Brothers.
Yeah, step brothers stories. At this point, Tree Shaker and Iron Temperer return, and they spank Stone Crumbler's bare bottom as punishment.
That's right. For all of
Yeah.
you guys out there like wanted to get in, the saucy bits start at the 36-minute mark. Ooh.
Yeah. And they leave like hot red hand marks on his shiny little butt.
Yeah. Yep. And he's fine with it. I mean, he's like upset at the moment, but then like he isn't like, "Fuck you guys, I'm leaving because you just spanked me and I'm an adult man."
Right.
What the hell
exactly.
are you thinking? I was happy when I was just crushing stone. I'm gonna go get back to my stone crushing days.
And the next day, the same thing happens to Iron Temperer, except he does slightly better in that he's able to make the rope.
Finishes making the rope.
Yeah. But the two brothers come home and see that the porridge has been eaten, and they again spank Iron Temperer on his little butt.
Well, what's funny is like Stone Crusher was like laughing as they were leaving to do so because he's like, "Oh man, you're gonna be in for it."
Yeah.
Because the gnome's gonna show up and he's gonna rape your ass and we get to spank you.
Yeah. Yeah, he's so mischievous about it. And then on the third day, it's Tree Shaker's turn, and the two brothers walk off giggling. But predictably, Tree Shaker defeats the gnome, trapping him in a crack in the tree. And the gnome struggles and knocks over the tree, revealing a hole into the underworld. Tree Shaker shaves the gnome, and then the brothers work together to forge his beard into a sword. And, of course, they have to make 3 attempts to do it.
Yeah, and I think that this is actually my favorite part when they're making the sword, and Tree Shaker is holding the hair in place that keeps moving around, trying not to get hit by the hammer that Stone Shaper has made from his Deus Ex iron staff thing. And then they actually make like a sword out of it that's formed pretty well. And Tree Shaker throws it up in the air, and it lands on Stone Crusher's ass and shatters.
Yeah.
So then he yells at Iron Temper and says, "You need to make this better." They reforge it, and then he throws it up in the air, and it falls and hits Stone Crusher's ass, and it bends. And this is when Tree Shaker was like, "Iron Temperer, you're the worst blacksmith I've ever seen."
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be like, "Fuck you, dude! I'm making a sword out of hair!
Yeah.
And it is keeping in shape. Fuck you! You make a better beard hair sword, you bastard!"
That needs to go on our t-shirts.
They finally make a sword that seems unbreakable, and then they say it's a sword, but it's very clearly Tree Shaker's dick.
Yeah.
And when he sheathes it, it hangs between his legs to the ankle.
That's right. Like right in front of his crotch.
Yeah.
It's his godpiece.
And like the sword hilt definitely looks like, and it has a little ball on the end, and it's pointed up.
Yep.
And then the sword itself hangs down, and it's very clear, like, it's his pee-pee.
Yep. It's kind of weird that you had to have your brothers make your penis for you.
That's Soviet Russia for you.
In Soviet Russia.
Brother makes penis on you!
We have not used that enough yet. We need to start using that more.
The Yakov Smirnoff jokes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The brothers take turns lowering each other into the hole in the otherworld, but both Stonecrumber and Iron Temper chicken out, and only Tree Shaker makes it all the way to the bottom of the world, being lowered in the cauldron.
In Soviet Russia, cauldron lower you.
Okay.
No.
We've now done it enough.
Yeah, it's over now.
It's over. You got us there, Mike. Good job.
Right.
Yeah. To completion. He lands on the gnome, who begs for his beard back, and then
Yes, Tree Shaker promises his beard back if, and only if, the gnome acts as his guide.
Yeah, basically. So the gnome leads Tree Shaker to the first of 3 palaces of the dragons. At this point, the movie has like a 3-part repeating structure, where the same thing happens 3 different times as he visits each subsequent palace.
Yeah.
And it always is the same structure. Tree Shaker stops this palace from spinning. He meets one of the princesses married to each dragon. He dodges a club thrown by the dragon who's returning home. Then he's defended by the princess and said that he's a visiting brother. Eats with the dragon, and then has a wrestling match and defeats the dragon.
Yes.
And then
and beheads the dragon.
Yeah, and then executes the dragon after this feat of arms. And then the princess joins him, and he shrinks the palace into an apple that he carries with him. And it's inferred that these apples are very heavy.
Yeah, I think the first palace that he goes to, where he's fighting the 3-headed dragon, he initially like picks up a club that was sitting out front and throws it at the 3-headed dragon, and he grabs it, and the dragon is actually like a stone golem with 3 heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should be called monsters and not dragons.
Yeah. The stone club that he threw is obviously the 3-headed dragon's penis that he left behind. Because you get to see his giant pendulous balls sort of hanging, but he's got no dick.
He's got massive balls dangling.
Yeah.
And this is kind of what's different at each point in the story. The character of the princess is different, the visual design of the dragon, the complexity of the battle, and that makes each of these sections very unique and bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one is a 3-headed golem.
Yes.
The second one is a 7-headed war machine with tank treads for legs and a dozen arms made out of guns.
Yeah. Of various sizes.
Yeah.
Various howitzers.
And the last one was 12-headed. It's basically a city skyline.
Yeah.
The last one is the oppressive nature of man's civilization.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and in the first one, the princess is like a manipulative seductress kind of character. She's the one Adam likes. For two obvious reasons.
The boobies.
Yeah. In the Silver Palace, which is the second palace, the princess is frightened and hysterical.
Yeah, she's more of like the damsel in distress.
Yeah, helpless. And it's kind of like a tank. The dragon is kind of like a tank, but it's more like also the abstract personification of war.
Of war, yeah.
Yeah. And the conflict is a little more complex, where Treeshaker buries himself underground, and it's something kind of reminiscent of trench warfare.
Yeah. What I actually find very interesting is they did have a fair amount of emotions associated with Treeshaker. Like in the first palace when he meets the seductress, he seems like unsure of himself because he's a young lad coming up against like sexuality for the first time.
Yeah.
And then when he kills the first dragon, he does seem like very remorseful, and he seems like he's about to like try to help the dragon after he delivers the mortal blow, but then the princess stops him and like redirects his attention towards, picking up the castle so they can take the castle with them.
Yeah.
Essentially. And he does seem to show remorse when he kills the other two dragons as well. It just seems like he's coming a little bit more into his own, but it's obvious that like this is the first time he's had to kill or like properly harm somebody.
Yeah.
So, and I thought that was very interesting. I just thought it was a bit of nuance I was not expecting in what we have seen so far in this movie. So
yeah, and but it follows the same logic. Like Stone Crumbler is slightly less awkward than Iron Temperer, and Iron Temperer is slightly less awkward or less strong than like each time he's getting better and better as he moves up, and the stakes are getting higher and higher.
Yeah.
And then the final Golden Palace with the 12-headed dragon, he cuts from its chicken legs, so that's what stops it from spinning. The princess is beautiful and virtuous, and she's instantly connected to Treeshaker and actively helps him, unlike the other two, feeding him the dragon's potion of strength. The skyscrapers that are shifting constantly and moving across the landscape, that is the 12-headed dragon. His faces are like pixelated window frames and geometric patterns that fly across them. And he looks like a mix between an impersonal metropolis and a Soviet propaganda poster that's been brought to life. Mm-hmm. And this battle is probably the most complex, with the dragon trying to crush Treeshaker under soot. He gets set on fire. He tunnels underground to pull Treeshaker down, and then ultimately uses reflections to assume the appearance of the princess, but is finally defeated and crumbles to dust.
And is defeated with the final blow, with the princess helping Treeshaker.
Yes.
Like she holds the sword with Treeshaker to deliver that final blow.
Yeah, she's into it. She likes violence.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what turns her on.
Definitely the best one to go with. The masochist of the group.
Yeah. And now we're kind of in the aftermath of his victory. Treeshaker puts the three princesses into the cauldron, and they're lifted into the overworld by his brothers. And this is probably my favorite scene, because the three women like rotate around each other and transform into repeating geometric patterns and shapes, and it's very trippy. And at the top, they join the brothers and are embraced. At this point, Treeshaker puts the palace fruits in the cauldron, but that proves too heavy, and the cauldron falls back down out of the hole, and Treeshaker assumes that his brothers have abandoned him.
Mm. Yep. And is like super pissed about it too.
Yeah. Really mad about it. At this point, the gnome tells Treeshaker to find the griffin atop a nearby mountain. Treeshaker climbs the mountain and saves the griffin's hatchlings from a snake, and then brings the griffin 12 oxen and 12 barrels of wine so that it can fly to the overworld. And these are given to him as a gift from the King of the World, who appears to Treeshaker with all of his power returned. And then so on the griffin's back, Tree Shaker feeds it the wine and oxen. And then when that's not quite enough, he feeds the griffin his right leg.
His right leg.
Yeah.
That's right.
He just cuts it right off.
Well, he cuts off his foot first.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Cuts off his foot, then cuts it off at the knee,
and then
cuts it
cuts
off on the
the
thigh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in 3 parts, because 3.
Because
Yeah, it has to be
the
three
three.
things. Yeah.
And then he arrives in the overworld, and the griffin's hatchlings like restore Tree Shaker's leg. First thing, no drama, no inconvenience to him.
It's like, oh, you gave me your leg. That's great. Let me just puke it back up, and it'd be perfectly fine. Go right back on there.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't even really need it. I was just doing a cool aerial display, and that's the reason why we slowed down. You probably should have just
Kept your
not
leg.
cut your leg off.
Yeah.
So
Actually saying, like,
No big
if I knew your flesh was this powerful, I would have eaten you the moment I saw you.
yeah, I just devoured you first. In Soviet Russia, Griffin eats you.
And then at this point, Tree Shaker is restored, and then he starts threatening his brothers.
Yeah, because he's pissed.
Yeah, thinking they left him on purpose. And they cry, and his wife, or the woman who's attracted to him, convinces him that they didn't do it.
Yeah. After the Griffin babies stop him. The Griffin babies do run up and, like, stop him from attacking.
Yeah.
And then his wife is like, dude, chill the fuck out, okay?
And he relents, and he gives each of them a palace fruit. And at this point, the world is restored. The brothers and princesses are united in their ultimate final form as powerful god concepts or level 900 Dragon Ball Z characters.
Yeah, they're basically restored to the original form of the 3 sons of the king.
Yeah.
And it's obvious that that's what they were. And I do like the fact that as they're restoring these characters, in the background you see the Griffin, and the Griffin is just completely animated like a dick.
Yeah.
Just a dick.
Oh, yeah, he's a big, floppy phallus.
Just the balls are sitting on the ground as his haunches, and he's just a dick sticking up from his balls. That's it. So.
Yeah. At this point, the acid trip is over, and we see Tree Shaker striding over a modern city as the credits roll. And that's the end of Son of a White Mare.
Son of a White Mare.
Son of a white mare.
What did we think, gentlemen?
Ooh, what a journey.
I am looking forward to your next podcaster pick. What are we calling these? Our special episodes?
Inflictions?
Yeah.
Dumpster.
Because I'm assuming the next one's going to be like one of those like really old Japanese anime about like demons coming to life and raping people, and then they get their vengeance. And similarly psychedelic, but a little bit more of a cohesive,
A little less Soviet.
concept, maybe. Yeah.
All right. So
don't know.
you want more narrative.
I don't know. I did enjoy this. I did like this a lot. And while I was watching it, I was thinking of... I cannot remember what the name of the animation... There's like an old French animation about a giant alien that abducts a human girl. And then, like, treats the human girl as a pet. And it's about... like,
Fantastic Planet.
Fantastic Planet.
Yeah,
It
Fantastic Planet.
It makes me think a lot of... I was just thinking about Fantastic Planet the entire time we were watching it. And I think that made me think that this was a much older film than 1981. So...
Fantastic Planet, I believe, was in the 60s.
Yes. Well, no. It made me think that this film...
Fantastic Planet is in 1973.
But for whatever reason, it was the animation style of Son of a White Mare that was making me think that Son of a White Mare was, like, much older.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is a contemporary of Fantastic Planet, but it's not. It came significantly... It came almost a decade after. So... I don't know.
Yeah. But I agree with you. I mean, those like seminal animated works, it feels like one of those. It has that quality.
Yeah, well, it's isolated from the other influences. From the influence of the other films.
Yeah. Just by nature of
Soviet.
the political situation that the maker was in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm interested in seeing more like this, more of this like esoteric, like odd bullshit that obviously, led to greater works by other people. So,
Esoteric, odd bullshit.
I'm more of a if we were to be using the White Wolf rules on making a mage, and you're picking the essence of the mage, I'm more of a primordial. So I'm down for learning more about where all of our fucked up sensibilities come from.
Wow, that's a reference that definitely all of our fans will get.
Yes,
And
Dan will
it's
get that.
So relatable.
Dan will definitely get that, yeah.
It's so relatable to everyone.
To Dan, yes.
Yeah. Derek, what do you think?
So it was interesting watching something like this because this is something I never would have been exposed to. Like no matter how far I'd gone down the internet rabbit hole, I don't think I ever would have found Fever Dream, communist Hungarian animation from the early 80s.
That's really weird because I had actually found it like just before Matt suggested it.
Oh, really? Nice.
Again, David's on level 9,000. He's interneting. He's interneting from another
David has
dimension.
seen the corners of the internet at this point.
Yeah.
No, it was, and I did not download it, so I watched most of it in Polish, which I understood none of it.
Honestly, I don't know how much you were missing, so.
I was at least vaguely able to follow the plot up to about halfway through, which is when I unfortunately had to stop. But it was my first thought in the first 5 minutes when I sent you guys the text. I'm like, what in the art house film am I watching? I was kind of impressed that it kept the entire style the entire way through. I thought that was just an opening sequence, and then it was going to go to a little bit more, I guess you could say, Western narrative or whatever.
Yeah.
It never did. It just stayed bonkers the whole time.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting that too. I think the problem that I was having is I keep conflating the titles between this and isn't there one that's like called Son of the White Lion or the White Lion?
Yeah. The White Line. It's an anime.
The White Lion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the problem. It's like in my mind I was like, wait, I thought we were watching an anime this week. And I was like, oh, this must just be the intro. And I was like, nope, this is an entirely different fucking movie.
Yep. This is why the Soviet Union collapsed.
Specifically Son of the White Mare.
Yeah.
Specifically.
They saw this and they went, "Oh my god!
What have we
just give
done?
me Disney?"
What have we
We
done?
paid for this. We paid for this.
Where are the talking animals?
No, we just got a guy who manipulates iron. That's it.
Mm,
Now, see, when I was watching the intro, I was seeing like the mare running away from all these monsters, and she's about to give birth, and I expected to go freeze frame and says, "I bet you're wondering how I got into this situation."
Yeah.
Well, to find the answer to that, we need to go back a ways.
and they just showed two horses fucking.
No, then they go to the flashback of the king and the queen and the
Oh, okay.
three sons. They did a flash forward opening.
That's true. Mike, any thoughts?
Just no. No. I just felt so uneasy through the whole film. It just
Really?
I think that's what's been giving me this existential dread all day. Is just like the tone of the movie, the aura threw me off. I can't describe it. It's just so much seizure-inducing ADHD. I was scratching at my face at times. So it was artistically a journey for me, but I have to appreciate it for what it is.
All right. A ringing endorsement.
Which is something I don't understand, but I know that people respect it. So I respect that people respect this.
You respect people's respect of this.
Yeah.
Yes, there.
Nice.
Brilliant.
There you go.
I like it. Well, I don't. Well, who cares what you don't like? I care.
I don't think we do a keeping this on the list, right?
We're going to watch it again? No.
Well,
No, I think we're good.
Yeah.
well, before that, the segment is Would you let your children watch this?
Oh man.
I'll
Maybe
go.
when they turn 18.
No.
She's
I
gotta
don't
learn-
want. I
she's
don't
gotta
want to
learn
waste their
sometime. She's got to learn
okay,
sometime.
my daughter is into art, so at some point, if she really seriously gets into art, I might show this to her as an influential education moment.
There you go. This is what people make art about: penises.
Or maybe just the first part, where you're like, "Hey, you see this? This is what adulthood is like. You give birth, and the child sucks the life out of you for the first 14 years of their life."
Maybe I'll show like 27-year-old daughter,
There you go.
child.
Yes. There you go.
When you don't have to deal with the nightmares.
Yeah. It's like a
Here's
bad
your
trip.
nightmare full cool kid.
I think I probably would not show this to my daughter.
Yeah, and their current age, absolutely not.
No. She wouldn't. First of all, she wouldn't pay attention to it at all.
Yeah, I mean, your case is a little bit more nuanced because it's just like, yeah, she probably would wander off.
Oh yeah. She
Like,
can't even really watch
boring.
things she's interested in. Like she wants to watch the documentary about elephants, but then halfway through she's like, "Let's read a book."
Nice.
Yes.
I thought the soundtrack on this was pretty banging. The sound design overall, and I love the animation style. I think it's fucking amazing.
Well, Derek, would you let your dearest child experience this train wreck?
We'll wait till at least high school, and then we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
No, that's even better. Be like, hey, your mother told me it's time to talk to you about the birds and the bees. So let's sit down and watch Son of the White Mare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll clear everything
just
up for
Everything
you.
need to
Yeah,
know.
you just turn to her when it's time to be like, any questions, ask your mom. So, David, what is our next segment?
Redemption, or does Matt get a redemption for this?
No, not for things that are chosen.
Oh, good, because I didn't plan ahead.
So this is the last chance for Mike if Mike wants to pick something for us to watch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For our 84th episode, since we forced Stripperella on you, you can actually pick one for realsies this time.
David, what was our last anime that we did?
On the show?
Yeah.
Have we done an anime?
I don't know.
If we haven't
Yes.
done an anime, then I am
Wow.
going to put
Jack-
that on there.
Absolutely.
Jack
we've
and the
done it.
Beanstalk was an anime.
Yeah,
oh,
shut up.
yeah.
And then we also, a long time ago, I feel like the last one we did was not Robotech, Gundam Seed.
Oh, yeah, we did do Gundam Seed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we do the Voltron precursor?
Oh,
Moltron.
no, I know what you're talking
No?
about. It's the actual
Volutronudu.
Japanese the
The,
Japanese version that we had like butchered to make the Voltron.
Yeah.
TV series.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Is
talking
it called?
about.
It's called like Lion Knights or something like that. Or,
which would not be dubbed.
no, it wouldn't be. Yeah, it would be
Nani?
Baka.
Nandeska? Okay, then in that case, I'm going to punt.
We want cartoons 26 hours a day.
What's that, Mike? You want to watch Lazy Town?
If I have another episode, I want to do another episode of Heathcliff. I want to bring that back around.
Oh boy.
Really? Another episode of Heathcliff?
Heathcliff, yes, I'm coming out of left field here.
Yeah.
Can I suggest the episode?
Yes, you may.
No.
Okay, we're watching Heathcliff then.
Oh,
Nice.
no.
Bam, that's how you negotiate.
Okay, what's the episode we're going to be watching of Heathcliff? That we have already voted off, by the way. So,
Did we vote it off?
Apparently, we
voted it
voted
off.
it back on, bitches.
Mike's bringing it
remember.
back.
Bringing it
I
back.
can't remember if we did or not.
Well, it's in the voted out pile. It's down there.
You're
So,
right. It's voted out. Wow. Back from the grave. Heathcliff risen from the dead.
Oh man, I gotta be faster on the
Zombie
rhymes.
Heathcliff.
Gotta be faster on the rhymes.
Oh shit! That's you were just bringing it back for Wordsworth, aren't you?
What?
God damn it.
Nice.
That's why we cut it.
Yes, exactly.
Because Mike was having too good of a time with the Wordsworth character.
Yeah.
Yes, and we need some callbacks. And I'm gonna prepare the bestest.
We need some callbacks with those hip cats.
Oh.
Oh, so close. That's why I'm not saying it yet, because I'm gonna save up those
You're going to savor
gold
it.
nuggets.
You're saving up your rhymes.
You're going to be like,
Save up my rhymes for the right times.
the whole time you're watching Heathcliff. Delicious.
Oh yes.
All right. So
David
I'm
has
assuming
agreed to it. I have
David,
spoken.
did Mike entrap you there? Have you?
Oh, I definitely think we should watch this episode.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
Hey, when do we get understudies?
Okay.
Guys, I want an understudy.
Well, you have to hire them out of pocket. Is the problem?
Yeah.
And you know.
Do they also do
With
laundry? Because
the new
I'm going to
rates.
ask the serious questions here. Just laundry and then understudy.
I do like the idea of you having an au pair coming over from like Russia or the Ukraine or something, and you're like, "Hey, you're gonna help me with my podcast."
Yeah. Write me some dumb puns.
So, on a future episode of Amazingly Terrible, we'll be watching Heathcliff, episode 40, Cat Food for Thought, and Going South. But next time on Amazingly Terrible, we'll be watching SWAT Cats, episode 3, The Wrath of Dark Cat.
Yeah. SWAT cats.
SWAT Cats.
The cats are where they're at.
SWAT Cats. Yeah, we got a lot of cat stuff going on here.
Yeah.
Wildcats.
I'm presenting SWAT Cats, and then Mike, remember, you're presenting Masters of the Universe, the movie.
The fuck I am.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
When did we agree on this?
are. Last
Last
time.
time.
What did you guys slip in my drink, damn it?
You made the
Nothing.
drink.
No.
Yeah.
Oh crap! Is SWAT Cats next time?
Yeah.
SWAT Cats is next time, yeah.
SWAT cats.
David even told us the rolls. David said he rolled, what was it, 6 times, and 5 times it came up Derek, and then the last time it came
Yeah,
up Mike.
no, I remember.
So,
No,
yeah.
your wily attempts at hypnotic seduction has failed. I do remember.
If only Derek had been there.
If only Derek had been there.
Yeah, if Derek was there, Derek would have maintained his perfect streak of presenting all of the movies. So.
I know. Seriously, Derek, you missed
He's
out.
very efficient.
It was the holidays. Sorry.
I know.
He's-
It's,
You're
Very
very
efficient at
efficient.
what?
We should make you do all the movies.
Because I can take a 2-hour movie and put it into 20 minutes.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's efficiency. It's like
Yeah.
Yep.
engineering, precision engineering.
Precision. German craftsmanship.
Here's War and Peace in 5 minutes.
It is like
There's-
BMW movie summary.
I could summarize it in like 3 sentences. There's war, nobody's happy. There's peace, still nobody happy.
4 sentences. That's it, folks.
People slightly less sad.
Slightly less sad.
Wait,
I'm way less sad.
No,
Mike's-
only slightly so.
David, did Mike have a redemption last time because he presented Bobby's World?
Oh, I didn't write it down. Definitely change something on the list.
Yeah, he pulled something. That's right, he did pull something from the wait list up.
Yeah, but that was denied, right? Or Matt swatted it down. What did I?
No, Matt was going to, but Matt did not have the means to. He
Oh,
said,
Dragon
I need
Ball.
to remember this
Dragon
for the
Ball.
future.
Yeah, Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball.
Oh, that's right. Because you were like, should it be Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you know what?
that's
I'd
right.
rather do Heathcliff because there's less of a chance of that being voted down than Dragon Ball, which will absolutely be voted
Who spelled
down.
Dragon Ball? Dragon Baal.
Dragon Ball.
Ball, the Lord of Death.
King.
Yeah.
The Lord of Death, yes.
Yeah, I'm not going to throw away my vote, so I'm going to go with Heathcliff.
The God of Murder.
No, Mike, last time you got a
Moira.
redemption, and your redemption was to bring Dragon Ball up from the wait list to the regular list, and then you also had a very special episode that you're allowed to populate, and David gave you Heathcliff. So, you have chosen our next show.
I wasted my very special episode on Heathcliff?
Yes! Yes! You did, in fact.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you know what? I'm okay with that. Because
Okay.
Wordsworth is going to make it so fucking worth it to me that I don't care if you guys hate me for a year. You'll get over it.
Yeah. How are you
Get
going to
over it
learn
like
an important
DuckTales.
lesson now?
Do we have any serial killer shows on our list?
What? No, we review cartoons.
Yeah, we just watched one.
Yeah.
Son of the White Mare.
Oh, yeah. How was that movie?
The guy who
what'd
made
you
it
guys
probably.
think of it?
He's probably
It
a
was about
sex
a bee.
freak.
Would you let your kids watch it? David, wrap us up, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring us down gently, David.
I'm now like desperately looking for the IMDb page for Dungeons and Dragons.
David.
I'm Matt.
I'm Adam.
I've been Mike.
I'm Derek, and I'm still confused.
It's okay. It's fine. We're just trying to insinuate that you are the lost Wayne's brother. That's all.
Son.
It would actually really help us out, I think, ratings wise, if we did convince everybody that you were the long lost Wayne's brother.
Wayne's World.
From Wayne's World, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the angle we're going.
Amazingly Terrible is produced by David and Adam. Music by Josh Woodward. Send your email to monotonouslyterrific@amazinglyterrible.com.
I thought this was supposed to be a derivation of the original sin myth. You know, like with Lilith expressing an opinion and getting kicked out of the Garden of Eden, and Eve partaking of the forbidden fruit and getting both her and Adam kicked out of the Garden of Eden. Essentially, that like in the patriarchal society, women are supposed to be the source of all evil, basically.
Sure.
It was that curiosity that started the whole events of the downfall of man, or
Or
whatever.
Bluebeard,
So-
or any of the other malignant stories that we have about how women are terrible.
Yeah, that's basically what I was gathering from this.
Written by incels of yore.
Incels of yore.
Incels of yore, hear ye, hear ye. I am a nice guy. Why not a woman
Giveth me
layeth with
blowjobs.
me?
Yeah. That's what we're gonna. Our new D&D campaign is gonna be called. Incels of yore.
Nice, nice.